Get out your squid hats, everybody. Today we're talking HP Lovecraft. Hey guys, welcome to Tomes. This is a part of the Janus Project. Today we get to talk HP Lovecraft, we get to talk Alejandro Mirabal, we get to talk Longharbor, and we're just going to talk about all of that stuff. So to appreciate this graphic novel, which again is one of the most beautifully illustrated graphic novels I own. It has just the atmosphere is absolutely stunning. I don't want to destroy it, and I don't have a digital copy, so I can't really show you every little bit of it. I am going to recommend that you go over to his page and see the actual art from this book. It is gorgeous. The back is really cool because it's got that UV spot gloss, and again, you can kind of see it there. But again, extremely detailed, extremely, like the atmosphere of these books are fascinating. To appreciate this, I am going to have to introduce you to HP Lovecraft. Now, I don't know how familiar you are with the works of the HP. Now, behind me on the shelf, you're going to see a bunch of my Cthulhu stuff because, okay, I'm a fan. And so you can see the art book of Cthulhu. You can see my Funko Pop of Cthulhu, which I got bought as a joke. And then you can see just one of my volumes of Lovecraft's work. Lovecraft has influenced so much. It's just not even funny to see the realm of influence this man has had. And he died at age 40-something and relatively poor, unknown. But again, the universe that he built was just unbelievable. The principle behind H.P. Lovecraft's work is this idea of cosmic horror, okay? As you deal with cosmic horror, it goes out throughout the universe, and it's this idea that there are these ancient, malevolent beings that they couldn't care less about you. And part of the horror of that is, since they don't care anything about you because they don't even care about your existence, it's not like they're coming after you. It's like if you step on an ant, you didn't even know it. That's how insignificant you are compared to these beings. And so a lot of it has to do with whispers and madness and insanity. And again, as you can see here with my wonderful Funko Pop of Cthulhu, a lot of tentacle faces, because that's just how it rolls. All right, and so you'll see a lot of Cthulhu and a lot of, they call it Eldritch Horror. You'll see a lot of that influencing things from Warcraft to Hellboy, just all the way across the spectrum. You'll see some SCP stuff up there on the shelf behind me. Howard Philip Lovecraft, his work just stretches out into all of these arenas. And again, that's the genius of it. If you want to read a book that has an atmosphere that has just got foreboding to it, go read some H.P. Lovecraft. The music of Howard Zinn, I think is the name of one of the songs, or Howard Zahn. It's just creepy. And it's all of this, just the unknown and the twisted and the scary. And so that brings me, without further ado, to Longharbor. Longharbor is one of iconiccomics imprints. He did this, I believe, as a Kickstarter and Indiegogo. I don't remember. And then I don't know if he was tied in with iconiccomics before or after that. But again, you can get it off iconiccomics website. And it's definitely worth it. It's one of those that I hesitated on. I kind of held off because I was like, but what happens with iconiccomics is if you order over $100, they'll do free shipping. So if you're anywhere close to $100 when you're putting together an order, I highly recommend throwing a few more comics into their cart. You've already seen me do a video on it. I've got a few of the ones back here. I've got Walmite, which has just, made me laugh out loud. Soul Finder and the sequel to Soul Finder. And again, there's some H.P. Lovecraft influence there, but more of it's demons in that one. We'll get to that later. But it's worth grabbing some of these comics. They're well done. They are put together in just, again, the cover is just really, really cool. My only regret, my only thing I wish this had is I wish it came in hardcover, because I like to collect my graphic novels in hardcover. It wasn't an option. But again, this story is really, really neat. It's a story about a group of I'm not sure if they're fishermen or just an exploratory team, and they come upon this place where all of the sea creatures are dead on the beach. And one of the guys goes in, he finds this old woman who's living in a hut with all of these little symbols carved around and kind of forming a protective circle around the hut. And so she's telling him, get out of here, especially when it rains. And anyway, the long story short is eventually there's some creature that is unleashed at this crew, and it just starts picking them off one by one. And again, he does it so well. There's one part where, believe it or not, there's a mermaid, and again, it fits with what you're doing. And again, I must say he probably has the most attractive and terrifying mermaid ever drawn in one of his works. And anyway, it comes after one of the guys, and the story, I don't want to get into the details of the plot, but again, it's these guys who are fighting against this unknown horror that's slowly driving them mad, but also picking them off. And there's these weird, formless creatures that are coming onto the ship and attacking them. And even some of the creatures that were dead on the shore are now coming back to life. And so there's these twisted amalgamations of like shark and octopus and other parts. And again, I don't want to ruin the plot. There's parts of it that kind of foreshadow things, so that's what I'm going to say. But if you don't want any spoilers, then you might want to just skip this little section. But the guy ends up losing his daughter, and that's part of what happens in this story. And so he's trying to find out where she went, and so there's just all of this weird creepiness to it. And again, I'm not really influenced too much by horror, but this definitely falls into the horror genre. And so again, I'm going to try to get it in the light here, and I'll try to find some images as well to put up so you can see what is going on. But you can see kind of the horror of the mermaid, for lack of a better term there. And again, it's the both attractive and terrifying sides of the mythological mermaid, just mixed with some of the horror of HP Lovecraft there. And so if you get a chance, I'm going to recommend go pick this up. Alejandro Mirabal is just an amazing artist. His work is flawless. It is gorgeous. It is grotesque, and again, just you can see the monsters that he makes, and his people are distinct and they're real, and there's just a very, very well done style to the book. And the plot is solid and it's tight, and you get enough hints of like what's going to come, and you just don't know how it's going to happen that way. And so the premise of the story is the guy is telling the story to like a reporter. He's telling it to this lady and kind of giving her a rundown of what happened. So the story, he's going to survive, but you don't know how each character is going to die. You don't know what's going to happen to everybody, and you kind of are like, I just can't picture that character dying. How is this going to happen? And so you keep getting these kind of flashbacks between him talking, in the kind of like the debrief, and then he's recounting what happened, and then it's back to the debrief, recounting what happened, back to the debrief, and then it leaves it kind of open for a sequel, which I'm really hoping there is one. But again, Iconic Comics, I've already told you, I think they're the best imprint out there. You need to go check this out. And so Longharbor is just an absolutely beautiful yet grotesque homage to old horror, and again, it all roots back some way or another to something like HP Lovecraft. And so again, well worth the get, and so I'm going to recommend you go do that as soon as you can. Guys, this has been Tomes. I'll see you later.